Orphism. Orphism, also known as Orphic Cubism or Orphic abstraction, was an influential art movement that emerged in the early 20th century, particularly between 1909 and 1914. The term Orphism was coined by the French poet and art critic Guillaume Apollinaire. The name Orphism is derived from Orpheus, a figure in Greek mythology associated with poetry and music. The artists of the movement aimed to create visual poetry and evoke a sense of rhythm and harmony through their use of color and form. The movement was founded by artists Robert Delaunay and his wife Sonia Delaunay Turk, and their work was characterized by vibrant colors, geometric shapes, and a sense of dynamism. Orphism sought to evoke emotions and sensations through the use of color and form rather than a strict representation of the visible world. Delaunay played a crucial role in developing its principles. He was particularly interested in the effects of light and color, aiming to capture the dynamic energy of modern life through his artwork. Sonia Delaunay was a pioneering artist in her own right. She collaborated with her husband on many projects and shared his fascination with color. Sonia's work extended beyond painting into various applied arts, including textiles and fashion design. Her innovative use of color and geometric patterns had a lasting impact on the world of design. Orphism, as an art movement, was influenced by several key factors that shaped its development and distinctive characteristics. Here are some of the main influences on Orphism. Orphism drew inspiration from Neo-Impressionism and artists like Seurat and Signoc, particularly in terms of color theory and the use of contrasting hues to create visual impact. Robert and Sonia, for example, were influenced by the neo-impressionist technique of pointillism, where small dots of color are applied to the canvas, and they incorporated this influence into their own explorations of color and form. Orphism emerged as a response to Cubism, another influential art movement of the early 20th century. While Cubism broke down objects into geometric shapes and fragmented forms, Orphism took these ideas further by emphasizing the emotional and dynamic potential of color. While Orphism shared some characteristics with Cubism, it diverged by placing a stronger emphasis on abstraction. The artists sought to move beyond the mere representation of objects and instead focused on the expressive potential of color and form to convey emotions and sensations. Fauvism, with its bold use of color and rejection of traditional representational techniques, had a significant impact on Orphism. Artists associated with Fauvism, such as Henri Matisse and André Derain, explored the expressive power of color, influencing the Orphists' interest in color as a primary means of artistic expression. Symbolism, a late 19th century movement that focused on expressing emotions and ideas through symbols and suggestive imagery, also played a role in shaping Orphism. The emphasis on conveying deeper meanings and emotions aligns with Orphism's goal of creating visual poetry. Orphism was not confined to the visual arts, it also influenced music, dance and literature. Guillaume Apollinaire, a poet and art critic associated with the movement, played a key role in promoting and defining Orphism. He coined the term and wrote extensively about its principles. The rapidly changing urban and industrial landscape of the early 20th century had a profound impact on the Orphists. The energy, speed, and dynamism of modern life influenced their desire to capture a sense of movement and change in their artwork. Orphist artists were deeply interested in color theory and the emotional impact of colors. They explored the simultaneous contrast of colors, where placing complementary colors side by side heightened their vibrancy. This approach aimed to evoke an emotional response from the viewer. The Orphism movement had a lasting impact on the development of abstract art. The emphasis on color, form, and emotion laid the groundwork for subsequent movements such as abstract expressionism, which emerged in the mid-20th century. Robert Delaunay. Robert Delaunay, 1885–1941, was a French artist who, along with his wife Sonia Delaunay, played a significant role in the development of abstract art in the early 20th century. Born in Paris, France, Robert Delaunay initially studied art at the Académie Julian and the School of Fine Arts. However, he soon moved away from traditional academic styles and was drawn to the avant-garde movements of the time. Delaunay was initially influenced by the works of the Impressionists and Post-Impressionists and Symbolists, such as Monet, Van Gogh, Gauguin, Seurat, and Signac. Later, he became associated with the Cubist movement, particularly the work of artists like Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque. Cubism sought to depict objects from multiple perspectives simultaneously, breaking them down into geometric shapes. His early works, influenced by Cubism, featured fragmented forms and a deconstruction of the visual plane. The Fauvist movement, characterized by its bold use of color and simplified forms, also played a role in shaping his approach. Artists like Henri Matisse and André Derain, associated with Fauvism, explored expressive and non-representational color. Delaunay incorporated some of these color principles into his own work. Delaunay was one of the leading figures of Orphism, a term coined by the poet and art critic Guillaume Apollinaire. Orphism was characterized by the use of vibrant colors, geometric shapes, and a sense of rhythm, aiming to convey a sense of dynamism and harmonious movement. One of his notable contributions to art was the exploration of color theory. He believed that color could evoke emotions and sensations, and his work often focused on the interaction of color and form. He developed a technique known as simultaneism, in which contrasting colors were used to create a sense of movement and depth. This technique was particularly evident in his series of works titled Windows and Circular Forms. During the prime of his career, the artist created the following series. Saint-Séverin series, 1909–1910. This series, created around 1909–1910, is one of the artist's early works influenced by Cubism. It features fragmented forms and a geometric approach to depicting space. City series, 1909–1911. City series, produced between 1909 and 1911, reflects his fascination with urban life and the modern cityscape. These works exhibit a dynamic and fragmented representation of architectural elements. Eiffel Tower series, 1909–1912. The Eiffel Tower series, spanning from 1909 to 1912, showcases his interest in one of Paris's iconic landmarks. These paintings explore the play of light and color on the structure, employing the artist's distinctive style. City of Paris series, 1911–1912. In this series, created between 1911 and 1912, Delaunay continued to explore the theme of the city. The works feature vibrant colors and fragmented forms, emphasizing the energy and rhythm of urban life. Windows series, 1912–1914. The Windows series, produced from 1912 to 1914, is characterized by the artist's exploration of light and color through the motif of windows. The paintings often feature abstract and rhythmic compositions. Cardiff Team Series, 1913 to 1914. The Cardiff Team Series, created in 1913, is associated with his interest in sports and movement. These works depict a football match involving the Cardiff City football team, showcasing the artist's energetic and vibrant approach. Delaunays' work had a profound impact on the development of abstract art and modernism in the 20th century. His innovative use of color and form paved the way for later movements such as abstract expressionism and op art. Circular Forms Series. Circular Forms is a series of artworks created by the French artist Robert Delaunay. The series spans a period from 1913 to 1931 and reflects Delaunay's continued exploration of geometric abstraction and the dynamic interplay of color and form. These works often feature concentric circles and demonstrate his interest in creating dynamic visual effects. Each series reflects Delaunay's evolving artistic vision and experimentation with color, form, and movement. These paintings contribute to his legacy as a key figure in the development of abstract art, particularly within the Orphist movement. In the Circular Forms series, the use of concentric circles becomes a central motif, suggesting a fascination with repetition and symmetry. The arrangement of these circles creates a sense of movement and rhythm within the paintings, contributing to the dynamic nature of the compositions. Delaunay's use of color is equally crucial in these works, as he experiments with bold and vibrant hues to evoke emotional responses and transcend the limitations of realistic representation. The series showcases Delaunay's evolving artistic vision and his experimentation with form, color, and movement. Each painting within the series can be seen as a step in his exploration of the expressive potential of abstract elements. As a key figure in the Orphist movement, Delaunay, along with his wife Sonia, played a pivotal role in developing a distinct form of abstraction that focused on the synthesis of color and form to create a harmonious visual experience. Like other Orphist works, the Circular Forms series often carries synesthetic qualities, suggesting a visual representation of musical or rhythmic elements. The circles may be seen as visual echoes of musical notes or beats. Delaunay's contributions to abstract art are noteworthy not only for their formal innovations but also for their impact on subsequent movements, particularly abstract expressionism in the mid-20th century. In summary, the Circular Forms series by Robert Delaunay stands as a crucial chapter in the history of abstract art. Through his exploration of geometric shapes, vibrant colors, and dynamic compositions, the artist not only contributed to the development of the Orphist movement but also laid the groundwork for later abstract art movements, leaving a lasting legacy as a pioneering artist who pushed the boundaries of artistic expression. Robert Delaunay. Red Eiffel Tower. The artwork, created between 1911 to 1912, is currently housed in the Solomon Guggenheim Museum in New York and depicts the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower series by Robert Delaunay is a notable cycle of paintings and drawings that depict the iconic Eiffel Tower in Paris. Created between 1909 and 1912, with additional works added up to 1928, this series is considered one of the most prominent representations of the Eiffel Tower and a significant body of work by the artist. The painting reflects Delaunay's interest in capturing the essence of modern urban life, with the Eiffel Tower serving as an iconic symbol of Paris. He captures the essence of the structure, not necessarily aiming for realistic representation but rather emphasizing the emotional and visual impact. The use of bold colors and dynamic shapes conveys a sense of energy and modernity, reflecting the artist's fascination with the technological and cultural advancements of the time. Dominated by red, white, and blue, reminiscent of the French flag, the composition exhibits Cubist influences through fragmented levels and multiple angles of the tower. While the painting is generally associated with Cubism, it also incorporates elements that align it with Futurism. Notably, it presents a modern rendition of the tower and its surroundings, evoking industrial elements, representing various phases of movement, and incorporating dynamic colors. Overall, this painting, as well as Eiffel Tower series, is considered a significant contribution to the development of abstract art in the early 20th century, showcasing Delaunay's innovative approach to color and form. Robert Delaunay. Simultaneous windows, second motif, first part. Delaunay created a collection of artworks, titled Window Series, spanning from 1912 to 1914. This painting dates back to 1912 and is currently housed at the Solomon Guggenheim Museum in New York. In this particular piece, there is a noticeable departure from representational elements. Through a window depicted in the painting, the viewer can discern the silhouette of the Eiffel Tower. The tower emerges through fragmented color windows, giving rise to an illusion of depth and movement. The composition's structure and use of colors evoke a kaleidoscopic feel. In this artwork, Delaunay explores the key concept of Orphism, simultaneity, which is the idea of representing multiple viewpoints or moments in time within a single work of art. The painting depicts a cityscape with a series of windows, each containing different scenes and perspectives. He uses bold, contrasting colors and geometric shapes to convey a sense of dynamism and movement. The painting is characterized by its vibrant use of color. Its emphasis on the interplay between light and form showcases traces of Impressionist influence. While Impressionism often focused on representing the immediate visual impressions of a scene, Delaunay takes this idea further by abstracting and distorting the forms, moving away from a direct representation of reality. The use of contrasting colors is particularly noteworthy. The artist believed that colors could evoke different emotions and sensations, and he used them not just to represent objects but to convey a sense of energy and movement. Delaunay was influenced by the technological advancements of his time, particularly the electric lights and the fragmented views seen through multiple windows. Simultaneous windows shares some thematic elements with Futurism, particularly in its portrayal of the energy and movement of the modern urban environment. The fragmented and abstracted nature of the composition reflects the influence of Cubism, but his focus on color and the emotional impact of the work distinguishes it from other contemporary movements. While Delaunay was part of the broader modernist movement and engaged with various artistic ideas of his time, it's important to note that his work, including Simultaneous Windows, represents a unique synthesis of influences. The painting showcases his innovative approach to color, form, and the representation of modern life, drawing from multiple artistic currents of the early 20th century. Robert Delaunay. The Cardiff Team. The painting, created in 1913, is currently housed in the Museum of Modern Art in Paris, France. The artwork portrays a rugby match involving a team from Cardiff, Wales, engaged in a competition against an unidentified adversary, likely a French team. In the lower section of the artwork, 6 rugby players wear vibrant jerseys with bold, simplistic designs, 3 don white and blue stripes, and the other 3 representing the opposing team. The scene captures dynamic action, with one player leaping to catch the ball. Positioned in the upper portion of the painting is an advertising poster featuring the Astra slogan, accompanied by depictions of contemporary marvels such as a biplane, a roller coaster, and the Eiffel Tower. The name Delaunay is prominently displayed at the base of the tower, serving as a form of advertisement, with the cities of New York and Paris listed beneath. The Cardiff team was created during a period when Delaunay was influenced by both Cubism and Futurism. While Cubism often fragmented objects into geometric shapes, Futurism celebrated movement and dynamism. In this painting, the artist combines elements of both movements. Delaunay was fascinated by the concept of simultaneous contrast, where colors appear more vibrant when placed next to their complements. He employs this technique extensively, creating a visually stimulating and dynamic composition. Delaunay was deeply interested in capturing the rhythm of modern life. In the Cardiff team, the repetition of shapes and colors contributes to a rhythmic quality, resembling the pulse and movement of the depicted scene. In summary, the Cardiff team is a visually dynamic and rhythmical artwork that reflects Robert Delaunay's synthesis of Cubist and Futurist influences. The use of bold colors and the emphasis on movement align with a Futurist fascination with the speed and energy of contemporary life. Sonia Delaunay. Sonia Delaunay, 1885–1979, was a Ukrainian-French artist and a key figure in the development of abstract art. Sonia, along with her husband Robert Delaunay, co-founded the Orphism art movement. Orphism, also known as simultaneism, focused on the use of color and geometric shapes to create abstract compositions. The Delaunays were particularly interested in the rhythmic and harmonious interplay of colors. Sonia was influential not only in painting but also in the applied arts. She became renowned for her work in textile and fashion design. Her use of bold colors and geometric patterns translated well into fabrics and clothing. Sonia and Robert Delaunay often collaborated on artistic projects, and their work had a reciprocal influence on each other. They shared an interest in the abstraction of form and the dynamic possibilities of color. In the later years of her life, Sonia Delaunay continued to produce art and received recognition for her contributions to the art world. She was the first living female artist to have a retrospective exhibition at the Louvre in 1964. Sonia Delaunay's multidisciplinary approach, incorporating painting, design, and fashion, makes her a significant figure in the history of modern art. Her bold use of color and form continues to be influential and celebrated in the areas of both fine art and design. Sonia Delaunay. Electric Prisms. The painting, created in 1914, is currently housed in the Pompidou Center, Paris, France. This abstract composition aligns with the principles of Orphism, a movement she co-founded with her husband Robert Delaunay. One of the most striking aspects of electric prisms is the bold and vibrant use of color. Sonia Delaunay was highly influenced by the color theories of the time, and in this work, she employs a diverse palette of bright and contrasting hues. The colors are arranged in geometric shapes, creating a sense of dynamic movement. Orphism sought to move beyond the fragmentation of cubism by emphasizing the harmonious integration of color and form. Despite the apparent chaos of fragmented forms and intense colors, Sonia achieves a rhythmic balance between the different geometric elements, creating a visual symphony of shapes and colors. Geometric forms, such as triangles and rectangles, are arranged in a way that suggests movement and rhythm. The use of diagonals and curves adds to the sense of flow and dynamism. The artist creates a sense of spatial depth through the layering of geometric forms. Some shapes appear closer to the viewer, while others recede into the background. Electric Prisms showcases Sonia Delaunay's avant-garde vision, her contribution to the evolution of abstract art, and her ability to capture the spirit of the modern age through vibrant and rhythmic visual expressions.